Hey y'all, it's Tree. So, there's a phase that happens in personal growth that almost no one talks about. It's the moment when life suddenly starts cooperating with you. When conversations feel more aligned. When opportunities begin appearing once you create the space for them. And things that once required enormous amounts of effort start unfolding with surprising ease. And most people do misinterpret this moment. They think that it's luck, or they think that it's coincidence. They think something external suddenly started working in their favor. But what's actually happening is much simpler than that. You see, your internal resistance has decreased. And when internal resistance decreases, external resistance often decreases as well. And this is the phase where life begins to cooperate with you. After someone moves through resistance, contrast, boundaries, and then all the emotional processing that follows, they eventually arrive at receiving. Receiving, that's the ability to allow stability, support, and opportunity to land without immediately bracing for a collapse. So, once receiving stabilizes, something interesting happens. Reality begins to mirror that internal shift. And the signs, they're usually subtle at first. You may notice that conversations begin changing. Instead of constantly encountering people whose perspective feels misaligned from yours, you begin finding yourself in discussions that feel more stimulating or more thoughtful, and really more aligned with the way you actually see the world. This doesn't happen because you suddenly searched for new people. It happens because you quietly stopped entertaining conversations that drain you. You see, your standards, they changed internally. So the environment, it recalibrates around those standards. Another sign is that leaving misaligned environments immediately creates space. You step away from something that no longer fits, and almost immediately something new appears. An invitation, a conversation, an opportunity. This isn't because the universe is rushing to reward you. It's because your capacity opened. When your time and your attention are no longer tied up in something that doesn't belong in your life, then reality suddenly has the room to bring something else forward. You removed the friction. So the movement around you, it becomes easier. And a third sign appears in the way effort begins producing results. Not because you stopped working, but because the work you're doing is now aligned with the direction in which you are traveling. You might find yourself studying for something, preparing for something, or working towards something, and the process feels surprisingly smooth. You still apply effort into it, but the effort doesn't feel exhausting anymore. And you move through whatever it is with clarity instead of force. And when the result arrives, it feels less like a victory and more like a confirmation, because deep down you already knew you were moving in the right direction. This is one of the clearest indicators that alignment is present. Things are not necessarily easier because life changed, but they are easier because you are no longer moving against yourself. When someone spends years negotiating with misalignment, it all requires excessive energy. Every decision will feel heavy. Every opportunity includes your uncertainty. And every interaction requires some kind of interpretation. But when alignment actually stabilizes, life becomes much, much quieter. Decisions become clearer. Movement becomes and happens smoother. And reality begins responding differently to the way that you move through it, because you're moving through it with confidence and not with uncertainty. And this phase is not about manifestation. It is not about controlling outcomes. What it's about is reduced resistance. Your internal system is no longer racing against your own direction. So life naturally no longer feels like a constant uphill push. And this is where many people become confused, because when life starts cooperating, it can feel very unfamiliar. Some people even become suspicious of it. They wonder if that ease is going to disappear. They wonder if they should prepare for something to go wrong. But this phase is not about perfection. It's more about coherence. Your thoughts, your standards, and your actions, they're all moving in the same direction at the same time and with each other. And when that coherence appears, life begins responding to it. Not because reality suddenly changed, but because you did. So yeah, if you've recently noticed life feeling a little smoother, conversations feeling more aligned, opportunities appearing once you created space, or effort producing results instead of exhaustion, then you may not be experiencing luck. You might actually be experiencing alignment. And alignment doesn't mean that everything becomes easy forever. And it also doesn't mean that obstacles suddenly are gone. It just means that the direction you are moving in finally matches with who you are becoming. And when those two things meet, that's when life typically begins to cooperate. So yeah, that's the message that I have for y'all today. I just want to remind you that where there is love, there is light. I'm sending my love to you, and I'll see you guys again real soon.